Hey friends, happy Friday. So today for Fall Soup Friday / Crocktober, I am bringing you another soup. You can see in our yard, that is Brackston's homemade hammock stand that he has put in the yard. It is fall, the leaves are falling, it is nice and breezy. I mean, it's a perfect soup day today. It's probably like 50 degrees here right now in Illinois. And so yeah, so we're doing this super fun collaboration. Me and my friends, we have this playlist that we're doing, and anybody on YouTube can join in. All you have to do is mention my channel and add it to this playlist by commenting down below and telling me that you have a Fall Soup Friday or a Crocktober you'd like to add, and I will add that for you. So today, there's a cat in the woods and it might be mine. I don't know if he's outside or not. Peter! I saw a cat run through my woods, like right there. So back on track. Today I am making lasagna soup. This is super easy, it's super versatile, and you probably already have everything on hand. Now I did use fancy mini lasagna noodles just because I was able to find them. I was actually going to use ditalini pasta. That was in my last grocery haul. That was what I intended to do. But then I realized in my pantry I still had these mini lasagna noodles, so I went ahead and did those instead. So it makes it look like lasagna, and it tastes so good, and it's so simple. I mean, you really do probably have everything on hand that you need for this. So with that being said, I'm going to get into this video. It's going to be shorter than the last soup video because this one took a lot less time to make. I mean, cooking roast takes time, but I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you afterwards. Okay friends, so I'm going to start by cooking some ground beef. This is 1 pound and it is frozen. I did end up adding a little bit of vegetable broth down to the bottom just to help it not burn to the bottom of the pan. And as you can see here, I'm just chopping it up and getting the pieces nice and small. I don't like really big chunks of ground beef. I don't know if you're the same way, but this is one of my favorite tools to use in the kitchen. And so now I've got my meat all done. I'm going to start adding in, I started with 2 teaspoons of salt. And I know that seems pretty excessive, but this is a big pot of soup. And now I'm putting in about 3/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. And then I realized that I left my spoon. So I am going to add 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. Now this will vary based on your family, how garlicky you like things. We like garlic, so if you don't, just lower that amount. That's where I said this is versatile. You can make this work for what your family's needs are. So then next I'm going to stir this up so that it can start getting nice and aromatic, and that garlic can start cooking a little bit and infusing this beef. And you want to be careful and start kind of getting things in quickly because you don't want that garlic to burn. Once garlic burns, it's bitter and it's pretty much ruined. So I'm going to add some minced onion. I really like minced onion, so I go pretty heavy. This is probably 2 tablespoons of minced onion. You just do what suits you. And I'm going to come in with some Italian seasoning. This probably is about 1 tablespoon. I do a lot of eyeballing when I cook. Unfortunately, it's kind of a bad habit that I'm trying to get out of as I write like a cookbook for my girls and my son's daughters when they get married. So I'm stirring this up and getting all this just nice and incorporated. And then I'm going to come in with tomato paste. I am not going to use a whole entire thing. I'm going to actually just use half of it. The original recipe calls for a full can of tomato paste, but I think that would just be too much. And when I do tomato paste, I like to stir it into the meat. A lot of people add tomato paste at the end. I don't like doing that because it's really, really hard to get it incorporated into the soup. So that's why you see me stirring it in here. It also starts cooking that tomato paste and giving it a really good flavor. Now, I was going to do a 14-ounce can of crushed tomatoes and 14 ounces of diced tomatoes, but my Walmart pickup substituted these really big cans, and my son Lucas isn't a really big fan of tomatoes, So I just went ahead and used the 24.8 ounce can of crushed tomatoes here and called it a day, because I didn't want to make it too overwhelming for him. I really wanted him to eat it. And this was the equivalent of what I would have put in with the 2 smaller cans. So I'm getting all that stirred up, getting it mixed up with the tomato paste. That's a really, really crucial part. I have 1 carton of vegetable broth that I'm going to add in here. You could totally do chicken broth. I do not suggest doing beef broth. It would just kind of really overtake the tomato flavors. But the chicken would be a little less subtle unless you're doing better than bouillon. I wouldn't do better than bouillon chicken in this. I did end up deciding, after looking at the levels of liquid here, that I was going to add half of a carton of water. And like I said, it really depends on your family size. It depends on how many people you're cooking for, how brothy you like your soup. I mean, this could have been perfect for you. For me, I just wanted a little more liquid, so I added that half of a carton of vegetable broth, or half a cup of water, and I just put it in the vegetable broth carton. So after this, we're going to add our noodles. Now I'm getting all the things scraped off the side of there so that we don't have any bits missing, making sure that my tomato paste got incorporated really well. And then I'm going to add these mini lasagna noodles. I found these at Hy-Vee, and I've seen them in other grocery stores too, but they're pretty hard to find. And so when I found these at Hy-Vee, I'd forgotten that I'd bought a couple of boxes of them for this purpose. So I was really stoked when I found them. I ended up doing almost 1 3/4 cup of noodles. You don't want to do too many because then it soaks up all the broth. I've done that before with lasagna soup and it almost just makes it spaghetti. But I like noodles at the same time, so I ended up stirring it around, seeing how the noodle consistency was, adding a few extra in there, and just letting it simmer is what's going to be the next step. This is so quick and easy. I mean, you could totally just simmer this in the crock pot all day without the noodles and just let it really do its thing. But I wanted to get this made for lunch, so I'm just going to let this simmer after I taste it. So I'm tasting it now. That's one of the most important things that you need to do, especially for salt content. And I did end up deciding to add more salt and pepper. Like I said, this is a decent sized pot of soup, so I ended up doing 1 more teaspoon of salt and about 1/2 of a teaspoon of pepper. And I stirred all that up, and then I let it simmer and boil away pretty much until the noodles were nice and tender. This is such an easy recipe. You could top it with so many great things. I mean, you could even cut up a bunch of fresh parsley and throw it in there for a beautiful color. I mean, you could add bell peppers to this. I could have cut up an onion and put it in there.
Baby Caleb, you show your face. Show your little face. You're not gonna do it. Say, I'm a mess. Say, my sissy made me breakfast. She made me waffles and strawberries and raspberries, and I got it all over myself. No, don't grab.
So as I was saying before we had our cute little baby Caleb interruption, you could totally add some fresh onion to this. I just didn't have any on hand. So as you can see, I'm just letting this simmer away while I tend to Caleb and get him cleaned up from his breakfast because he was a mess. Now, you could totally just let this simmer for as long as the box says the noodles need to cook. You could even simmer it for a little bit longer. The noodles really hold up well, honestly. And I just could say so many things about the soup. I mentioned that you could top it with various different things, and you could add like a dollop of ricotta cheese to it that you've mixed with fresh parsley and maybe even some mozzarella cheese. You could just put mozzarella cheese on top of it. And here I'm going to quickly show you what this looks like when it is ready to go. It is simmered for about 30 minutes at this point. And I'm going to give a bowl to Chloe first. She is my spaghetti lover. And like I said, you could put so many different things, even shaky cheese. You could do so many things to this soup. She was like, oh my goodness, it smells so good in here, Mom. So I had to give her the first bowl. Okay guys, so that is today's Fall Soup Friday. I hope that you enjoy this super easy recipe. My really good friend, who is a large family mom, she has 8 kids, gave me this recipe, and she actually makes it in the crock pot. I mean, it's so versatile. Basically, the only thing that you're going to want to do differently is that you're going to want to put your noodles in about an hour before you're ready to serve it. So I actually halved her recipe today, and what I will do is in the description below, I will give you the exact recipe that I followed, but I will also give you the full double recipe, which is enough to fill like an 8-quart crock pot. And so with that being said, thank you for stopping by. Please make sure to check out the playlist and everybody else who's participating in this collaboration. And I hope you guys, if you like this video, you'll hit the like button. And if you haven't been here before and you like it here, please consider hitting the subscribe button. And yeah, so until next time, friends, I'll see you later.